Children and young adults are young carers when there is not enough support for the family. This means their disabled parent has to depend on them for basic personal, domestic or emotional support. This can stop children growing well, can upset their schooling and can make it harder for them to develop their own lives. Support for all the family should stop this. Young carers projects can often help.
Like all families, we have to learn to negotiate and delegate to organise the tasks in the home. Who does what? Who washes up? Who puts out the rubbish? In my family, it's usually me that does it all, but that's my choice. There's a difference between washing up and getting your mum up and dressed in the morning. Personal care should be done by a paid professional and not by one child. However, some disabled parents or parents with long-term illnesses often find it hard just to do the day-to-day stuff that needs doing. And this is where they need the support from local family, from the community and from the social services.
My son was about between 10 and 11 years of age when I was first diagnosed with my problems. Previous to that, we had help from an organisation called Young Carers. He has learnt now that some days Mum can't always do what he wants me to do, and he has to be a bit more helpful himself. The young carer group that my son goes to, if I need it, if I have any problems, I can contact them, and they will come and help me with my son if it's to do with my son, or if there's something else, then they will find the organisation I need to help me.
I happened to email this lady the morning my son was really upset. I couldn't help it. And she emailed me and said he'd gone to her sobbing. So I felt relieved in a way that he had found someone he could talk to. He doesn't have contact with the young carers. He was given the option a year or two ago and didn't want to. And he's happy to talk to the lady at schools.
Young Carers was definitely, a help to my son. He is really struggling with friendships and self-esteem in the school. And to see him sort of running out the door, jumping in a taxi on his own and whizzing off to goodness knows where, somewhere in Norfolk for some activity, on his own, not knowing anybody there, how that has aided his confidence, and it has, we wouldn't have been able to have stretched his ability to that degree.
It's a very good thing for you to have a sense of humour, especially within your family unit. And whilst it might seem a little politically incorrect, my younger son actually says, if I'm having bad days, actually says to me, oh, it's mummy's talking to the walls days. I know that parents are actually supposed to feel guilty, aren't they, as soon as they're given their infant in their arms. But I think that I do. I feel totally guilty that my children have had to go through a lot of very difficult issues and not had a lot of support themselves. We're just beginning to, I think, talk about the future. I think that we did have some family therapy, and that, I think, made us all sort of realise that nobody was ever saying anything. There's always an elephant in the room, and that, in fact, we need to be sort of addressing issues, how the children feel, because as a parent it's very easy, isn't it, to think, I know my children, I know how they feel, when you possibly don't, because they're not expressing to you how they feel. And I think that a lot of children do tend to perhaps hide things if they're particularly worried about their parent. I think they do tend to sort of hold it to themselves.
Probably the tip I would like to give to other disabled parents is something I said earlier, is to talk to your children and give them a chance to talk to you. You know, don't just tell them this is how it is. Ask them questions, see how they feel, find out how it impacts on their life or what their thoughts are, and have a really open and honest relationship with your children.